Let's see if this is a little better, you guys. I'm hoping y'all can hear me. Let me know if you can. I'm not sure what my phone is thinking it's playing. Alright, let me know if you guys are able to hear me now, because I'm hoping. Alright, I think it's working. I think it is working. Alright, so I don't know if there's anybody here as of right now. Hey, it's Nathan. How we doing? You've got your review coming up. Gonna go live pretty soon if it hasn't already. Let me check my notifications. It should be coming here pretty soon. Alright, I'm gonna have to pull this out of my ear, otherwise it's gonna make me go crazy. Okay. Audio is really low. Well, I can turn, if I turn the background music down, which it should be lower anyway, then perhaps, see, the audio on my microphone is as high as it can go. Is it any better now? Let me know if it's better. I have no idea why this thing just all of a sudden started going crazy and acting stupid. I literally was just testing it out a minute ago, and I think my computer just crapped out on me. I think that's what happened. So, alright, I'm listening to it. Alright, Jetta is back. That's good. We got a couple of you here. We're just gonna go ahead and get started. If I'm a little closer to the microphone, obviously that helps proximity wise. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do, you guys. Tonight, the wife is out of town. She is in Colorado right now. So I got the kids to bed. I've got work to do. So this is a diorama project that some of you have already seen before. I've got a Netflix Daredevil diorama that I started ages ago. I mean, I don't even remember how long ago it was, but it was a long time ago. And so let me see if I can find a picture of it while I yammer on. But essentially, I've got the inside done, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to have the walls reversible so that I could have either an interior brick or an exterior, like as though it's in a hallway. And so the idea, if I can find the pictures here, we won't bother. So here's essentially one of the walls from the interior. Now it needs to get cleaned up. It's not done yet. This is one wall. This is the bigger wall. So the idea with this is essentially it's a 3 wall. I've got another wall like this. And so it just sets up like this, and you've got your room. Let's see if I can. It's always hard doing this overhead when you only have one camera, but essentially this is the room. You've got this wall here, blah blah blah. So what I want to do is I want to be able to have it so that if I want to have this wall showing, that's great. Otherwise, I want to be able to flip it and have this wall showing. Well, this wall, I want to have it look different. It's not going to be brick. It's going to be, if you recall in the Netflix Daredevil special, if you recall, that hall was a little more like this style. And this is the style that I want to do on the reverse side of the diorama. So that way then you can have essentially a Matthew Murdock apartment room, or you can have that, you know, pretty famous fight scene. Now, I don't recall if this is the actual color scheme that they used in the show, but, you know, it is what it is. I like this color scheme. It looks good for what would be a hallway. So that is the color that I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the green and the kind of off-white. This is really blown out. Let me adjust my brightness a little bit because I think I got that a little too hot. There we go. Okay. So, what we got to do first is we got to put in more magnets, because I've got enough magnets so that I can get it. Wow, I've got too many walls here. I've got it so that I can set this up with the magnets, and I can flip them. So I can have one wall here, I can have a wall here, I can take this wall and I can put it over here, I can flip it. Everything is modular. It all works just fine. But I need to put in a couple of magnets so that way then it comes up tight against this. So that's what we're going to start with. We're going to put a couple of magnets in and do our best to do it all on camera. All right, so we are going to start with this wall. And so I've got one magnet right here. I got to put a magnet over here. That way then this will actually connect to both sides, both walls. So I got a couple of magnets. We're going to throw this in. I always mark my magnets so that the south side has an S. That way then it's easy to really quickly be able to know where, you know, because if you don't coordinate it, then you're not going to get you're going to accidentally mount it, and then crap, it doesn't go. And you always want to make sure, if you want to do modular stuff, you got to have these magnets lined up right. So that is what we're going to do. All right, so got this. There's not going to be a huge amount of talking tonight because I need to think. So hopefully the music's not too incredibly annoying, but chat amongst yourselves. I'm going to get some work done. All right, so first things first. Throw that on. That way then... Oh, wait. Nope. That's wrong. I'm already starting stuff off wrong. Okay. Alright. So, we want this. We need to make sure that everything's at the same height. That way then everything matches so that it can be fully modular. So all I'm doing here, if you can see, is I'm lining this up as, you know, as close as I can. And then I've got the one magnet that's already mounted to this, and then I've got another magnet on there. And then I can just press that. And that'll make a nice indentation. Probably can't see that too well, but there's a little indentation of my magnet, and that just tells me where I can cut, which is kind of nice because then you don't really have to do, you know, any measuring or anything like that. So let's just use this other one. It shouldn't matter, but we will. Again, we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. Try and get this lined up just right. If you really wanted to be particular, you could use a straight edge to make sure that it's actually lined up. Again, get that lined up nice. and give it a little pressure so that it makes that indentation. Kind of rock it a little bit so that gets everything indented. And like so. That is interesting. I hadn't thought of that. I don't think that'll be a problem. Okay. So, any of you that are watching, if anybody is. All right, Nate, thank you for dropping by. I will be checking that review out. Nathan is doing, I think you said it was your very first full Transformers review, which is pretty darn sweet. So I'm gonna have to check that out pretty soon. So the next thing, that is Nathan Simmons, for those of you that are watching later. In order to make sure that I don't scratch up my paint, I should have put this cloth down first. Ever since that audio issue, I'm all discombobulated. All right, put that down. Boom. All right, I'm gonna put this up here so I can see some of the chat. All righty, so here's what we're gonna do. Very easy. Once you've got that circle indentation, we are going to cut it out. And that's pretty simple to do. Essentially, you're just tracing this with your X-Acto. Make sure that your knife is good and sharp. And I mean, this doesn't need to be extraordinarily perfect, but obviously you want to have it as nice and clean as you can. What up, MG 1999? Welcome. Thank you for joining. Just got going. We're supposed to be going sooner, but technical difficulties at the last moment. So what I'm doing right here, not on camera is what I'm doing. What I need to do is I need to cut this little circle out. That way then there's space for the magnet. Well, in order to do that, I need to cut in, but I need to only cut out this, this width. So I just use the actual magnet to kind of eyeball it. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. And then once I've got that pretty much in place, then I go ahead and try as carefully as I can to cut in as straight as possible. I was filming on that new stop motion going there. For those of you that are watching and haven't checked it out, go check out MG1999 on YouTube. He's got a pretty cool stop motion film that he did with Nightwing, Batman. It's really cool. Are you late? My bad. No worries, you are not late. I am late. Took me a while to get started. Alright, so we've got that cut out. We're gonna see, did we get it sized right? Pretty darn close. That's pretty good. Problem is when you're trying to double check it and you put it in there to get it out. That's not always easy. You just want to be careful that you don't accidentally break. Especially this little piece right at the edge. I mean, you can always fix it, but why fix stuff if you can do it right the first time, right? All right, so I am using a high temp hot glue gun. Don't use a high temp hot glue gun. It's the only one that I have. My low temp one is broken. It will not heat up, and I'm too cheap to go spend the $5 to get a new one. Actually, I just always forget every time I go to a hobby store or whatever. So I just fill that up. Oh, we need to make sure that we're going the right way. Crap. Yep. I was doing the wrong direction. Good thing I double checked, but unfortunately my glue is going to be not too sticky. Good, it hadn't cooled yet. Alright, so I'm going to have to just clean a little bit of this crap off. There we go. Not too shabby. Okay, so even when you do mark them with the polarity, sometimes you forget. You still forget, which is annoying. All right, so here's the test. Woohoo! It sticks. So south side up, and actually, I kind of standardize on putting the south side up. So MG, this one is my Daredevil Netflix diorama. I am actually working on finally finishing this guy. The plan is that I'm going to actually finish this diorama and sell it. George, Plastic Addict, has recommended that I attempt to sell this thing, and I kept telling him, George, I have not finished it. And he said, well, get your butt in gear and finish it. Okay, he didn't actually say that. But he basically told me, hurry up, get it done, and if you're going to sell it, sell it. So, that is what I'm hoping to do. It's really difficult with this overhead rig to show you what it looks like, though. So, maybe at the end I will move the camera so that way then you guys can see what it's looking like all put together. Although the thumbnail has it, kind of. But basically, I have been working on this thing for, oh gosh, forever. It seems like some of my projects never get done. I'm good at starting projects. That much is for sure. Yes, it is the apartment. It is Matt Murdock's apartment. And then it will be the fight scene hallway. It'll be reversible to the hallway scene. So I thought that would be kind of cool. Pretty sure that will be deep enough. We shall see. You guys can't see. So, is anybody in the chat working on their own diorama tonight? It's a good night to be working on dios, I think. So sometimes you're going to get some stuff squeezing out there, so make sure that you wipe that off. And it doesn't take all that long for that to dry. Cool. Okay, so we got that. Let's just double check. Hopefully I did this right. So that, you're not going to see that unless I turn it. So this is what would be the reverse side of this. So this will get painted. and it will get painted with this paint style. So the green bottom, kind of cream top, like those. It's similar, not exact to what was in the TV show, but this way every wall can be attached in whatever way you want. So you have a lot of options, which is nice. So we could do one brick wall, regular wall, and you could do another brick wall, or what else could you do? Anyway, lots of options. Let's get to work. So now we need to paint. Well, we don't need to paint yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to sculpt, because we don't want just this nice flat wall, right? We want something cool looking. So we need to put a little bit of detail on this. Now I have to address these windows. The windows are not reversible, so I have to decide, am I gonna make the reverse side, or am I just gonna, whoever buys it will have to flip it? I'm thinking I'm gonna make it, both sides are looking good, rather than, oh crap, you can see the cardboard there. We'll see. Depends on how, whatever the word is, how ambitious I get. But essentially this is just going to be like a regular plaster wall, and so I need to damage it up, I need to ding it up a little bit, and then I need to texturize it for what would be the texture that I want. And actually that's the wrong order. I kind of want to do that texturing first. So I found this little rock out in our yard, and I actually liked the look that it gives. It gives kind of a bit of that plaster look, just real subtle. So we're just gonna, and this part takes a little while because I couldn't find a bigger rock with just the right design. So I have to be careful. I've got some stuff on this side that's I don't want to break. Alright, looks great. Do great with the Mezco Daredevil figure. You know, I haven't gotten the Mezco Daredevil, but I do have the Mezco Punisher, Netflix Punisher. And so I kind of want to get that Mezco Daredevil, but I don't want to pay full price. I don't really even want to pay the like $70 that it's going for right now. So, but if I sell this thing, then I guess I'm off the hook on having to buy that that figure. So that's nice. All right, I said I wasn't going to be talking that much. I'm just yammering on. I doubt you're going to be able to see much of this detail that I'm adding in because it is fairly subtle, but it's there. It's just minimal. So I am planning tonight on working pretty late. So I'm gonna try and get as much of this done, paint and everything, as I can tonight. I've got some fans set up, so that way then I can do this in a coordinated fashion, so that way then while stuff is drying, I'm working on other things. So we shall see how that actually works tonight. I mean, I usually work with fans, so that way then I can get stuff, paint put on as quick as I can, because I can't stand waiting 24 hours for my paint to dry. Alright, so this particular one, I'm probably not going to put a like a foundation, a concrete foundation. What I'll probably do is put a little strip of some sort and make it look like it's that plastic kickboard or whatever. So we don't need to worry about that. There's really not a whole heck of a lot that honestly needs to be done, which is nice. So this will get done pretty quick. What's up, Robert Ott? How you doing? Just drinking a little bit of my beverage. It's getting warm in here. I should have turned the air up. Alright, so we've got that pretty much situated the way that we want, which is good. Okay, now we need to bang this sucker up a little bit. You might be able to see a little bit of that right around in here. Just subtle. Maybe break a little bit of that up. Alright, so there's a few ways that I like to do this. Number one, it is good to kind of have an idea as to where some of the wear points would be on a wall. So pulling out a figure and figuring there's probably not going to be a lot of wear up near the top. It's going to be down in this area mostly. So by about the, right here where your elbows might rub up against, and then down around in here where you might be kicking. So I don't know, that's just kind of my rule of thumb when it comes to where I'm putting where. All right, and then I'll just take something like this big old sucker and try and find a not too sharp of an edge. Just jam it in, kind of bang the thing on there. Trying not to do too much in the exact same angle, because otherwise you're just going to have a bunch of dents all in the same place looking exactly the same. Ooh, that one turned out nice. I like that one. And we might do another kind of good one. There we go. Nothing too spectacular. And we might do one. Hey, Climbable, how we doing? Glad you could join. We're just trying to figure out where to put some dents. It shouldn't be this difficult to do, but whatever. Sometimes it takes a little more effort and thought. And then the other thing that I want to do is I want to cut out a little bit to make it look like some of the plaster or whatever has kind of been banged in a little bit more. And I'm sure there's plenty of other techniques that are better than mine, but I did this on my other project and it kind of turned out okay. So I thought I would do this again, and I'm gonna roughen it up a little bit. But I don't want it to go too deep. That's the biggest thing. Random dent is always good. I find that there's a tendency, for me at least, to overwork stuff until you've got like a giant hole, or it just, you've taken so much material away. Because Because you keep thinking, it's so easy to think, oh, you know what, it doesn't look, it looks too subtle. But when you get that paint on there, that paint really makes stuff stand out. So I always have to kind of stop myself, like on this one. And I do like to smooth mine out just a little bit so it doesn't look too hard, if that's the right word. And we'll just add a little bit of crack edge. Pull a little bit out of this spot there. Hopefully you guys can see. I don't know if my lighting is all that good this time. So I may do a show on dioramas every week, but I will never claim that I am an expert in this. Most of the time I'm just kind of making it up and as I go, and sometimes it works out. Sometimes it does not. And that is my recommendation to everybody who is considering getting started, is you never know until you start and try. And you can't overthink it too much, otherwise you will never start. So, how many we got? We got 8. Not too bad. 8 of you watching, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just taking a little pencil here, widen some of this out a little bit. I don't want all of my cracks being super small. Otherwise, at some point, I'll never see them. So I'm just widening them just a hair. My pencil needs to get sharpened. I'll keep that a little thinner. That doesn't look too bad. You guys probably can't see it. We got some real shine burn from the light. Jeez. Okay. Have I missed anybody in the comments? Probably not. Alright, so we need some more cracks. Obviously, there's going to be some cracks around here because this is where there's going to be a little weaker area. So let's throw some cracks around in here. Actually, let's throw it in a little more at this angle. That's going to be a big long one. Start widening before I start losing where I put it. So I hope everybody took some time to watch this week's episode. This Week in Dioramas. I thought it was a really good episode. Lots of amazing dioramas that it was just, it's always, gosh, it's so fun to see what you guys are putting together. I don't know. Something's missing with that one. Let's move on to this side. Just a little. Yes, Spotzilla, there really were some very stunning pieces. It was crazy. Every week, at the beginning of the week, just as the episode from the previous week is done, I start getting worried. I'm like, oh man, what if we've hit the maximum for just awesome dioramas that people are able to do, and then I'll start running out of stuff that I can showcase, and then like the next day there'll be 3, 4, 5, 10 more that it's always so crazy. I always love it. So the next day after is always fun because I start seeing a whole slew of, and it's usually from oftentimes it's from diorama creators that haven't been showcased yet before, so new ones that I've never seen anything from before, which is pretty cool. And then the even cooler part is there's just so many people creating dios from all over the world that is just so fun to see. People from Brazil and Spain and where else, Indonesia and Japan. And I mean, it's, you guys, you're everywhere. It's crazy. It's so cool to see. Pull a little bit out of that. That's getting a little too smooth looking. Need to bring this down a little bit. I don't want to overdo it with my cracks, but I do like cracks. All right, that's looking pretty good. All right, what do we got? Yes, Kevin Delenti's his work is amazing, and I've been following him, like I said in the video, for ages. Not ages, probably a year. And yeah, his work is realistic looking, and it's crazy. And I think because he's got so many followers, I think he's got like, I don't remember how many followers. When I sent a message once or twice, just letting him know that I had showcased some of his work in the past, it didn't even come up as being read. So I assume he gets so many messages that little old me who doesn't even have 1,000 Instagram followers yet, I'm probably not on his radar. So at some point I got to figure out how to get on his radar. If other people start recommending to him, if anybody knows him. Same with the guy, he goes by What the Hell. He does some amazing work as well. And I don't think that he really, and maybe some people just aren't really interested in participating, and that's fine as well. So, but yeah, he does amazing work. I need a dent or something right there. What are we gonna put? Let's use the rock. Let's see, something like something subtle. There we go. It's almost like it's a elbow or something. Okay, so I think this is probably good and ready for, oh, you know what? We need to do this edge. There needs to be something on the edge. And actually, what would be cool is to have a crack go from here down to here. So what we might do is, and this is hard, so we'll do it from here. You probably aren't going to see what I'm doing, but that's okay. We'll start it from this brick. And then we'll just bring it down. I like having things that have a little bit of continuity. And this one will be subtle, except on this side. and then we'll be about ready to paint this sucker up. And then we'll move on to some of the other pieces. God, I gotta sharpen this pencil. I wonder if I have another one. Well, when I go for a drink break, I will sharpen my pencil. Okay, I think we are ready for some paint. I do need to take this window out. I don't want to get paint on that. Okay, so here's the deal. Doing a black wash is all fun and games when you don't have to worry about messing up the paint on the other side. But when you do need to be careful about that, well, your black wash can't be near as watery. Otherwise, and you got to be much more careful about how you're slopping that on. So we're gonna do our best. Where's my stir stick? Found it. All right. So someone had mentioned in a previous live stream, because I kept complaining about my my paints continually chunkifying, and they recommended putting plastic wrap, you know, the cellophane plastic wrap, putting it in the caps, and that has really been helping quite a bit. So thank you. I don't remember who it was that recommended it, but I really appreciate it. So we're taking that black and we are going to water this down a decent amount. I don't want to get it too watery, just because I don't want it running near as much as, you know, I usually let it. So I really want to be careful about this because I don't want to start getting black all over. This might be still a little too thick. Oh, that's not too bad, actually. All right, so I always ask this, but is anybody working on any dios while I work? Are we working together on dios right now? It always makes me feel better when I know people are sitting here watching and working at the same time as me. It's just kind of fun. Camaraderie. How long have we been going even? Oh, it's only 45 minutes. Oop, I got some water on there. Okay. Let's see how we are doing. It's not too bad. Will it go into all the little creases though? I need it in my cracks. Said no one ever. So this is where being careful about the edges. You really don't want that black dripping all over. So it's a controlled black wash. And I always, no matter what, I always do at a minimum 2 coats of black wash. Because I start with a very thin coat to ensure all of my cracks and dents and whatnot get paint in them. And then my second coat, is always a little bit thicker. That way then I get the full coverage. That edge doesn't really matter as much. Again, I always try to talk at the beginners as often as I can, because I do get questions from beginners often. And usually I get a lot of the same questions, so there's some people that really do not like getting those beginner questions. It's just, some folks would rather just go look it up, and I don't care. I'm fine. Ask me 50 million times. At some point I might recommend, I'll go look it up, but I get it. If it's a different person each time, everybody starts at ground zero pretty much. If you've had zero training on this stuff, you don't even know where to begin. I mean, I get it, beginning on YouTube, but with trying to find videos, but if you don't even know the terms to look up, sometimes you don't even know where to begin trying to find stuff. So, like, I don't even remember how I discovered doing a black wash before you start doing painting, and then I don't even know how I discovered dry brushing. God, it's been such a long time ago. I'd like to think that I discovered it from someone helping me out, telling me, but who knows? So I don't mind getting those questions from newbies. Plus, it's also a bit of a ego boost when somebody thinks that you're good enough to ask a question of. That's I don't know about everybody else, but I certainly enjoy that. Alright, so Futzilla, you're in the middle of a project, but not while you watch. If you did, you'd break your brain. Yeah, I understand that. Alright, so, oh geez, I almost got something. Okay, so this is ready to dry. Do we need to put paint anywhere else? No, I think we're good. So I'm gonna go throw this on in front of the fan, and then we'll work on one of the other walls. And by the time we're done with all the walls, this should be dry for another coat. We shall see. I will be right back. Alright, I told you I would be back. Okay, so this one, we're going to do the exact same thing. Pretty much. Now you'll notice on this one there are holes right here. That is for the mount for the door slider that I've got. I need to fix all of that, but the idea is then that mount could be flipped over to here if you wanted. I'm still not entirely certain how I feel about that particular thing, so we shall see. We might change that up at some point, but we are going to essentially do the exact same thing we did on this one as we did the other one. So here we go. And Futzilla, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. You don't really have to listen or pay attention to me. You can still work on your dio while the video is going. I'm gonna say this, there's not really anything of major value that I'm doing here. I don't think. Maybe it is. But you don't have to pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm just rambling on because I always say I'm not going to talk that much. That's always a lie. I'm always talking. I don't like the silence. This piece can come out. This one too. Those of you that are in the chat, which we've got 12 of you watching, very cool. Those of you in the chat who are feeling up to answering a question, tell me this. What is your favorite part of the dio making process? Hey, Dope Toys NY, how we doing? For those of you not aware, and now I asked the question, still go ahead and answer, but you're doing the exact same thing right now? Awesome. Those of you watching who are not familiar, if you didn't watch this week's episode or you live under a rock or something, Dope Toys NY did the Mortal Kombat diorama that's on the thumbnail from this week's episode and sold it to Plastic Addict. And that piece is absolutely amazing. I love that piece so much. It's so cool. God, this time I'm just not getting much out of this stinking rock. This particular piece of foam is resisting me. I'm obviously not pressing in the right spots. There we go. Now I'm getting it. This is what happens when you use crappy tools like a rock you found out in your landscaping. Things don't do what they are supposed to do. But I suppose the rock didn't come with a user manual, so you are more than welcome. I was so glad when I saw that you tagged it. Just because I do try to make sure that as high a percentage of projects that are tagged are the ones that will get showcased each week. Now I do showcase some that aren't tagged, and I have to say I probably would have showcased yours whether it was tagged or not, because it was so freaking cool. The lights, I would be interested to know what lights specifically you're using. If you have like a link, an Amazon link, if you could DM that to me, that would be so cool, because I've been thinking about getting into doing lights on my dios, but I just can't pull the trigger on which light brands I want to do. So, and some of it is just I need to suck it up and just try. I mean, worst case scenario, they suck. They're not that expensive, so I don't know. No excuses, right? Alright, I think that's gonna be good enough. Nobody's gonna notice that crap anyway, right? Alright. Use an aluminum foil ball. You know, I usually, or I have used aluminum foil, but I wanted to control the depth a little bit more, and when I've used aluminum foil, sometimes it's gone deeper than I like. So I like the way that this rock does it, because I'm trying to get that plaster look, and so the fact that I can have this nice sharp edge with plaster, a lot of the times you get kind of those sharper little edges that go along and then they kind of disappear. That's why I didn't go for the tinfoil ball this time. Not Amazon. Cool. Thank you. Okay, what was I gonna do next? Oh yeah, dents. Dents are next. Nothing too spectacular here. Again, a little bit of a Where's Waldo? So we got some knees, we got some stuff here. Let's put in some nice big dents. That was bad aim. Wow, that was gonna go right there. Oh well. Go the other direction. And maybe some elbow. Ooh, that was a good one. And you know what? Let's do a nice big one right here. Kind of push it in a little bit. There. And then, since this is a doorway, I kind of want to roughen this up a little bit. Just because people are going to be going through there. So, this door could have been a little bit taller, but so you're going to have a little bit of wear here. And we might get a little bit over here. I don't want it to be too uniform though. And we should probably wear this down because this would not be this sharp of an edge. Oh, thank you. I just got the DM. Thank you, sir. Oh, they've got instructional videos. Sweet. That is cool. So with this one, I am realizing I'm gonna have to have a threshold, because if you want to have some real continuity, oh look at that, I have continuity here too. Sweet. So all I need to do is line this up and put in my threshold stone. Cool. Look at me, Mr. A year ago thinking about all this stuff ahead of time. I need my ruler. Okay, you guys can't even see what the heck I'm doing. Alright, oops, I just hit the camera. Okay, so from the edge, we are we doing inches? I don't remember when, but I switched from inches to millimeters a while back, because it's just so much easier for calculations. Because all you need to do is, or all you need to worry about is, you know, counting. Can you count? You don't have to do a bunch of translations. Otherwise, normally I don't prefer the metric system. So, whatever. Alright, so I did a 1/2 inch. It's easy enough. And it doesn't really need to be that perfect. Score this a little bit. Ooh, this blade is not good. It'll have to be good enough. Try and get this straight. We'll just eyeball it though. It's an old building, it's not going to be perfect. Alright. So we should, did we, we didn't really do much of a texture on it. We didn't do much texture on this. So what we might do, we'll give it just a little texture. Got my trusty tape with driveway rocks. I'll just give this a little bit of texture, just to make it look like it's a slightly different material is all. And then we will crack this thing up. All right. That should be good enough. All right, let's put some cracks. Okay, so now we don't have any windows that we can easily pull a crack off of, but we can pull a crack off of the doorway. So let's do a big one. Let's just do one all the way from the ceiling. Jeez, I already lost it. I can't find where it started. There we go. All right. So let's pull that. All right, Clanable, thank you for dropping by. It's your son's bedtime. My kids are luckily already in sleep. They're already in bed. Thank you for joining. Make sure you get some of your friends to go vote for your Dio. It was a really cool one, that sci-fi one. But thank you so much for joining me tonight. Pull a little bit of this out. Not too bad. And let's do one right here. Whoop. Your least favorite is carving the brick. I actually don't mind the brick. The reason I don't mind the brick is I'm always confident that I can do the brick. I know I do pretty decent with the brick. So that I'm never worried about that. The paint is the thing that I'm a little less confident in. I kind of like the sculpt part. I guess I call it sculpt, even though it's, I wouldn't actually, it's not really sculpt, I guess. Hey, David Martinez, welcome. Thank you for dropping in. And thank you for the extraordinarily kind words. I really appreciate that. That is very nice. Kills your thumb. How come it kills your thumb? I'm trying to think how I do it. never had a problem with my thumbs, but we all do it a little different. Alright, I want more cracks. Where the heck do I put this crack? We'll put it up here, down here, up here. Let's do a small one. So if you do hate doing the brick, oh, I don't like that crack. It's there. It's there now. There's a dude, I talk about him a lot, Rhino Dioramas. He's got a wall builder thing, and I've actually got a video coming soon showing those things. It's essentially, it's just a little template that you can use. God, that looks like crap. Instead of, you know, the manual way of doing the brick. And once you get the hang of using that thing, it really speeds up the process of making your brick. I don't know, I think I just made this worse. Oh, well. You know what we might do? We might just make this into a big hole, because I hate this one. I hate this crack. Make it into a bigger hole and get rid of the part that I hate. That's the nice thing about this, is it is forgiving, because you can always take away a little bit more and make it look a little bit better. Let's see. Can we make it look like a foot? Like a heel? I'll clean that part up. That looks like trash. All right, let's. Oh, fragile hands. Favorite step would probably have to be dry brushing. Wear and tear on my dios, and my least favorite has to be carving bricks. And nobody likes doing bricks. I don't mind doing bricks. It's kind of what's the word? It's cathartic. Is that the right word for me? I don't know. Let's put in a crack right here. I think we're probably good on cracks. We don't need to go too far on these things. Too much like it was cut rather than broken. I guess it's I like the brick because, like I said before, I know exactly what I'm getting. Now sculpting rocks, I hate sculpting rocks. And a lot of people would probably be like, rocks are the easiest. Yeah, well, it goes back to what I was saying before, is packing and shipping. Yes, I hate shipping anything. Anything in general, I hate shipping. Such a pain in the butt trying to find a box, trying to find all the materials. But anyway, what I was saying was, oh crap, what was I saying? Oh, I've got a bulkhead here. Dang it. forgot what I was gonna say because I just realized there's a bulkhead here. Dang it! And that's probably gonna make my cracks look stupid. Although, well, it is what it is. Alright. My least favorite is when you forget to add a detail that you were planning on adding. Alright, this one we're going to draw because I want to make sure it's actually straight. Oh yeah, I hate rocks. Thank you. I hate rocks because, like I said before, I have the tendency to, if it doesn't look perfect, to just keep pulling more material. And after a while, I might have a softball size rock when I start, and then I'll have a marble size rock by the time I'm done. Because I have just I kept picking away more and more material till all of a sudden nothing's left. So I don't do a lot of rocks, but every time I do them, I like the way that they look. It just takes a lot of effort from me to make sure that I stop pulling material off. But yeah, you're right. Dry brushing, I love dry brushing because it brings it together and it does it so quick. It's crazy how quickly that dry brushing just all of a sudden brings that project to life. And that is so much fun. Yeah. This is kind of gonna bug me about that stupid crack that now is not lining up properly. But you know what? This edge is not gonna be seen, so that'll be fine. Okay. Anyway. So we need to figure out what we're going to do about that. You know what we can do? We could pull some material out, make it look like it's a, yep, that's what we're doing. Oh, and good, the apex of that started there. Nice. Look at that, things are looking up. So, let's just do this. Take this, we're gonna knock that out a little bit. And fix that part. See, this is why I like this part. Because even if you mess something up, you can pretty easily fix it. And even like this one, we can keep that crack. Or we can just widen this. And then it doesn't look stupid. There we go. Then we just need to throw a couple more. Do something like that over here. And we should probably make this one a little bigger. Alright, what do you got here? I don't have a hot wire cutter. I'd love to get one. There again, I just haven't decided on which brand I want to get. But at some point I do plan on getting one. What did I do over here? Okay, so we did cracks along each of those holes, which is good. That makes some sense. I would like to get a one of those hot wire guns, or wire cutters. Those things look pretty slick. To give that a little bit of a texture. Make sure that we don't get our other part texturized the way we don't want it. Proxon, I've heard that, yeah, I've seen the Proxon brand quite a few times mentioned by a lot of people, so that likely is in the running for me for the brand that I might go with, but we shall see. I don't know the name Black Magic Craft, but it's still possible that I've watched their videos and just haven't realized it. Jeez, there's 13 of you all in here. What time is it? Oh, it's only 10:30 my time. I was thinking it was like far later for there to be this many of you. So I appreciate that everybody is here. All right, that looks a little too clean. Let's do this. Let's throw one more big dent. Maybe right here. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to, let's throw some paint on this sucker, and then I'm going to get a refill on my beverage. But we still got plenty of work to do. Well, I have plenty of work to do. Alright. I hope my paint didn't dry up on me. That was kind of dumb. Let's double check. Did I forget anything? I don't think so. Ooh, you know what? I've got one of those seams from a magnet. Let's just turn that into a series of cracks. Just so it looks like it was intended to be there. Yeah, I could cover it, but just make it into that. Alright, let's see if this paint got all buggered. It's a little thicker. Alright, what do we go? How long does a typical project take from you start to finish? Okay, I'm laughing because, well, this project I started probably a year and a half ago. So I don't know that it's very seldom that I have a start to finish project. If I really commit myself to put in the time, that Toys R Us diorama that I did last year took me about a month and a half, maybe. But that's not like, you know, that's not necessarily working on it every day. I just don't have the time to work on this stuff every day. With the family, kids, which kids apparently are family. But I'm in school, work full time. Sounds like a lot of excuses, huh? Yeah, no, it just takes me forever. And then the worst thing is if I get stuck on something, I have such a short attention span that just all of a sudden then I move on. I go do something else that I know I can do, and then I tell myself, oh, I'll come back to that when I've thought of the solution to it. And that's the case with this particular project. I've been struggling with the door. I need to figure out a way of it. I want to make the door into one of those sliding barn door style doors. Haven't been able to figure out how to do it yet. So, yeah, to answer your question, I'm terrible. Cerebral, 5 months, that's not bad. 6 to 8 weeks is pretty good. Well, freaking if I could do 6 to 8 weeks on something. This other project that I've been working on and just about to finish, that one's probably taken me a month and a half, and I'm just about done. I'm just coming up with little props now to put on it. But yeah, I'll be posting that up at some point on my Instagram. It's nothing, you know, spectacular, and that is on purpose because I've been telling myself, because it takes me so long, and usually when I do try to make a diorama, it's always, in my opinion, it always becomes this epic, huge idea that takes forever and is far more complex than I have the time for. So I'm trying to get myself to do smaller projects that I can actually sell and maybe get a little bit of extra cash, and then buy some of those tools like the hot wire cutter and stuff. So that way then I might be able to speed up my process a little bit. So, but I have no idea kind of what to charge. So I might hit you up at some point and find out what your ideas are. Smoking your current project, about 10 days in, maybe 75% done. Wow, that is nice. Man, it's always nice when a build really just comes together. That's how my Toys R Us one was. It was just like, wow, I actually am gonna finish this, but I gave myself a deadline because I knew I wanted to do it as a giveaway on my channel, and so that incentive, I needed to get it done by that July, and so that made it considerably easier. Alright, sweet. I think we got all the little nooks and crannies. Oh, missed a little bit there. Alright, we got pretty much all that done. All right. So I'm going to go put this in front of the fan. I'm going to grab a drink, and then I will be back, and we will get back to work. If you guys stick around, that'd be awesome. I appreciate it. If you gotta go, you gotta go. All right, here we go. I'll be right back. Alright, good news. This piece is dry. So we can go ahead and put that other coat of black on. If anybody is still here. If you're not, I'm still doing it. Alright, so we're going to mix up a little bit more. But I'm glad I set up all those fans, because that means for this stream we might actually be able to get to some dry brushing. I'm honestly going to work as late as I possibly can. For those of you that, I don't know how many times I've said it, my wife is out of town, and so this is the time to get this stuff done. Alright, here we go. Oh, I might have made that too watery. Such is life. Okay, so let's make this as nice of coverage as we can get. So I want this as black as possible. Don't want to see that pink at all. So, what is everybody drinking? What's your beverage tonight? Mine is a Corona. I got a 40-ounce Corona. We are on the second glass, second 16-ounce glass. We will be finishing that, and if we need to, we'll move on to the, oh, what is it? It's like a 312 wheat. I think that's what it's called, but it's not a 312 For alcohol content, it's like 4.2. So I don't know what the 312 stands for. So what's everybody drinking? You've got a desktop fan. Yeah, usually I use a little desktop fan. This is, I'm gonna try not to get paint on it. This is the little guy that I typically use. It's really small. It rotates on its base, and it's got two settings. But for tonight, in the other room, I've got two fans set up. One is a regular, like, I don't know, 16-inch, 20-inch fan, and then the other one is a slightly smaller. But yeah, they are kicking out the wind quite a bit. And then I've also got I've got the dehumidifier on, so that way then there's less moisture in the air, and hopefully that will help everything dry quicker. So I'm gonna go put this to dry, and then we will work on the third piece. Alright, I do think I'm gonna go rinse this brush so it doesn't dry out on me and get crusty. I'll be back. Alright, is anybody still in? Because I got a question or something to bring up, especially if Dope Toys is still here. Looks like you guys are still here. Rick Creating, what is up? How are you doing? How did I do the window frames? So you were actually looking at the backs of these window frames. Let me turn this. My hands are still wet from the... Okay, so let me pull this one out. I'll show it to you and then I'll get to work. Since you asked. So basically all I did, see if you can actually see that. These vertical pieces are wood. The horizontal pieces are wood, and then this curved piece is foam. And the glass is two pieces of CD-ROM case, because the CD-ROM wasn't big enough to be able to do the whole thing. So essentially I cut out a semicircle part here, and then a square piece here. And then these are actually, it's probably like a granola bar box, and I actually cut out each of these little squares, so this grid is one entire piece, and then these little hunks, there's little, what looks to be little brackets or whatever, that also is just like granola bar box cut into small pieces. So that's how I did the windows. Eli Vader, how we doing? Welcome. Thank you for joining. Alright, so Dope Toys, you're here. So I have an idea that I think would be kind of neat. And you don't have to say yes or no. But I was thinking, you know, I do these live streams where I'm working on stuff. And I thought, you know, it would be kind of cool to be able to have a couple other diorama creators on the live stream working on their dios, and you could do like a split screen, but we could have a conversation but also just work on the dio. So it would essentially be, you know, me asking you questions, you asking me questions. I think people would be more interested in knowing stuff about you guys than about me. But kind of make it, if you recall Life with Brock, he did the collector spotlight. It's similar to that. I pretty much steal all of Brock's ideas. I mean, this, yeah. But essentially, yeah, kind of do it like a little interview, but it's more of a, we're gonna chat and work on a dio, similar to what we're doing here, but we'd actually have two videos. I don't know. I'd have to figure out how to get that in with the technology on this, but from my end, it's always a little harder to do that. You know, to keep track of the chat, so it always feels one way. But anyway, I don't know. It's an idea that I've been throwing around in my head, thinking, is that something that people would find interesting or not? I don't know. Technology-wise, it might be a little rough to get that done, but you know, who knows. I am several beers in, so who knows, maybe the stuff I'm saying is pretty stupid. It's getting that way. For those of you who have just joined, which there's 13 of you, that's crazy. I am working on finally finishing up my Netflix Daredevil Matt Murdock apartment, and I am making this thing modular so that you can have his apartment, or you can flip it around and have, if you recall in the show, that really cool fight scene in the hallway. It's essentially going to be that hallway is going to be the look. So we are doing the hallway look because the interior room is pretty much done. I mean, I do need to do some more mortar, but that's what we're working on tonight. I'd love to get to the point. Actually, I'm not doing real dry brushing on this one. Forgot. It's just regular paint. So what I wish I had a little mini roller, because if I could just do a mini roller, that would have given that effect so much better than brushing the paint on. But we will have to just do with what we've got. Yeah, the tech aspect is a pain. That's why I don't know. You know, I'd want to start with one guest and see how it goes. Because I can imagine at a certain point, I mean, I'm not meaning to sell myself short, but after a while, I don't know, wouldn't it be more interesting to not necessarily just be watching me for an hour and a half? I don't know. I need a bigger rock. There, I'm sure, better, easier ways to do this, but Such is life. I think I got pretty good coverage on that. Oh, maybe a little more on right here. Angry Crow, how we doing? I can't remember. Is it you that hated the music? I can't remember. Let's change up the music. This one's called Woke Hard. It's W-O-K hard. That's walk. I don't know. Let me know if you hate this music. What's up is we are working on this dio. Oh, that was a little deep. Not what I said. I just pressed my rock in too deep. Okay, next. We gotta check and see, is there anything that we need to match up? No. Good. Alright. Wasn't you. Okay. Well, tell me if you hate this music. I thought maybe you guys might like a slightly different song. Otherwise, I can move on to the song called Triumph. Oh, where's my... Here it is. Alright, we need to do some cracks. Let's get going. I kind of like that crack going all the way from the top to the bottom. That was kind of fun. But let's think. Rule of thirds. We should probably do something like this. I want to bring it. Okay. I hope you do participate in the My First Dio thing. I hope lots of people participate in that because I think it's a really fun idea. I mean, it is my idea, but of course I think my idea is fun. But yeah, I think it'd be fun for people to be able to see where everybody is starting at, because we don't all start at the same place. I mean, we all start essentially with the same knowledge. But it's interesting to see how some people progress. So, I don't know. I just thought that'd be fun. So, I hope you'll do that. What did I just say? Not duo dial. Oh, okay. I'm going to go sharpen my pencil because I'm getting sick of this thing being dull. I'll be right back. All right. All right, cool. I might even actually put put my very first diorama piece in. I kind of have a rule that I don't put my own dios in the show. And two reasons. But the number one reason is because I can do a full video just on my own dio. Since it is my channel. So that is usually what I will plan on doing for my own videos or my own dios. But I will certainly share my first. So I think that'll be kind of fun to see where everybody started. I don't know what you had for lunch yesterday. Well, I think everybody would love to see if you can find a picture of your first dio. I think a lot of people would love to see that. And if you can't find it, that's fine. So the idea is you'd tag it with the hashtag #myfirstdio and put that up on Instagram. And on October 4th, I'll showcase all of the first dios. And if it happens to be such that, you know, I get 20 or 30 dio submissions, then we'll make the whole show. Well, maybe we won't do that. Maybe we won't do the whole episode about my first dios. Maybe we'll do part of it, because that might get a little bit annoying. Because let's just be honest. I mean, my first dio sucked. So I don't know if we want to have a whole episode dedicated to crappy dios. But some of you guys, my gosh, I've seen some of you, your first dios look better than my freaking dios that I do now. Not that I do amazing, but that's the thing, is like, golly, some of you guys are so good. Anyway, I'm talking and not working. Al Figures is a big name in the dio world. He was one of the first that I discovered that kind of, I mean, he wasn't my inspiration to get into dios, but he was one of the first that I saw doing the dios. I actually started doing dios because I wanted to do stop motion, and I wanted to have my own sets. So that is actually why I was going to get started into making dios. I don't like that one at all. Break that. You know what? We need to make some dents. Ooh, that was a good one. Yeah, I started with a brick wall as well. That was my very first. Mine would have been a cinder block. Was kind of the size that I started with. And the paint I just used, I went to the hardware store and I bought a can of that, it's like a textured paint, and I just sprayed it on there. And I'll say it actually doesn't look terrible, but that's all I did. And so I actually have it up at my work. All my action figures are displayed, and I've got it up in the back, and now I don't even notice it. It's kind of funny, actually. So yeah, that was my first dio. You know, I don't know that I need to do a whole heck of a lot with this, since you've got these windows, which are really the key. You use that. You know, that texture stuff can work, and luckily my bricks are nice and straight and whatnot, so it looks like it was intended to be that way. But that was the only time I've used it, and prefer I prefer dry brushing and texturing the material if I can. Oh, what do we want to do? What do we want to do with this? I don't know. What do you guys think? I think maybe we do one more set of cracks down here at the bottom and then call this good. So I don't want to overdo it. Actually, I don't even know if it needs that. Yeah, and I wonder if it's because it's the other stuff that they put in that kind of keeps it from eating away. I've even gotten what is supposed to be acrylic spray paint, and I've had the acrylic spray paint eat away. Now that eating away can give a really cool look if it's concentrated in a certain spot. It can give that a kind of a neat look, but it also can easily ruin something. So I don't even trust acrylic spray. You have to keep it as far away from the material as you can, otherwise, yeah, it could potentially still eat it up. All right, I'm kind of at a loss for where I might put more stuff. I don't think it needs it. So Eli, the spackle for the grout, and I have struggled with it, is to make sure that you seal your paint before you do it. And that is where I struggle. And I was just talking about the whatchamacallit, the spray stuff. Someone else, I think it was Crashbox Customs, recommended a polyurethane spray. I have not tried it yet, but I am planning on trying it, because what I wind up having is, no matter how thick I get that acrylic, it's still, when I wipe away the spackle, it still starts to wipe away my paint. I absolutely hate that. So I'm going to try to find a polyurethane spray. I've never seen a polyurethane spray. So clear, and obviously not gloss. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe that's the trick, but I don't know. I think I'm going to put paint on this. I think it's ready. I don't think this thing needs anything else. That'll speed things up. So I need to make this a little wetter. Minwax makes it. I figured Minwax would have it, but I gotta test it out on something first before I put it on a project that I put a lot of effort into. I do not want I don't want it eating away at it. And that's the thing, is you gotta let it dry through and through before you know for sure that it's not gonna eat away at it. And you kind of want to know, is it, like, how sensitive is it going to be if I accidentally get a little too close. So yeah, I'm a little gun shy till I've tried it. So I'm not necessarily recommending it. I'm just saying someone has recommended it. Not till I've tried it. Because, the thing about it is when you get your brick just, all dry brushed and whatnot without the mortar, it looks freaking good. If you're doing you have pretty good skill with your dry brushing. And then to go and cover that up, it takes a little bit of trust in your technique that it's not going to just F up everything that you just did. So that first time that I did that, oh boy, that was nerve-wracking, because it was on one of my biggest projects that I've ever done. Or not one of, it was my biggest project I ever did. And I just jumped in and tried. Luckily, it worked pretty good. Hey! What is up, playa? We've only been live streaming for, geez, how long is this? 2 hours now. I'm going for the record. I don't know what the record is. Actually, I'm not going for the record. I think the record is several days. I don't even know if there's a max. I think the max is 12 hours that a regular account like mine can live stream, and we will not be doing that. But I am wanting to get as much of this project done as I possibly can. So thank you, Brock, for joining. So there's 15 of you in here, and 2 of you are Brock and Dope Toys. So you guys both know. But anybody else that's on that doesn't know, go check out Life with Brock's channel. He does a weekly This Week in Customs show. It's not nearly as awesome as the This Week in Diorama show, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. I'm kidding. But yeah, go check them out. Lots of really cool custom action figures. I have I've completed one custom action figure, and I'm still planning on tagging and hoping that maybe it will make the cut. Maybe I'll go for a week that I think is going to be a slow week, that maybe Brock will actually put mine in. Mine's just a repaint and a tiny little bit of sculpt. Okay, I'm overworking this thing. All right, let's go make this dry. You thought 4 hours was the max? Okay, let's go put this to dry. You guys can keep chatting. I will be right back with hopefully one of the other pieces that is dry. Alrighty, this piece is pretty much dry now, so we can keep going. It's always nice when this stuff kind of works out in your favor. But man, my carpet is operating weird with my chair. I don't understand it. Alright, let's put another coat of black on. Ooh, you got another one for me too? Sweet. Always looking forward to having more awesome dios to showcase. All right. So, Brock, are you working on any... that's a dumb question. I already know that you're working on custom action figures. Just got a message from Chad Chilla. Said that he's watching. All right, so Chad Chilla, What is your name in YouTube? Because I don't know. Anyway, Brock, sorry, I got distracted. Brock, what are you working on with your customs? I know that you're working on like 80 of them, but which one are you focusing on right now? Because I've gotten to the point also where I don't have 80 dioramas that I'm working on, but I have 4 dios that I'm working on right now. Brock's working on 6 customs right now. That's, well, if he was able to dwindle it down to only 6, I'd be impressed. He always talks about how he's technically got like upwards of 80. Now, I mean, that could just, I assume that could just be you've got the parts for up to 80 different ideas or whatever. Or maybe that's a little bit of hyperbole. Oh man, I had a freaking bug. Some sort of like a fly or something land on there. Get out of my paint, you stupid fly. But who knows, maybe it is actually 80. That would be a lot. Plastic Attic always gives me a hard time because I've gone from doing bigger projects to these smaller projects. Well, this isn't a smaller project, but to small projects. It's like, you need to do the 3 wall. Do 3 wall. That's what everybody wants. Like, I know. I don't have time. I don't have the attention span to actually finish them. Alright, so Brock is saying, currently making a character from fodder and the gauntlet. I can't speak. So who is the character from fodder? Or are we not allowed to know? Eli, I've only made 4 customs, takes forever. Plus you do dio. So, oh, Chad Chillin. Welcome. Glad to see you're here. Chad Chillo also does a lot of really cool dioramas, and we've showcased him several times on the show. So welcome. Thank you for joining me as I work on this little project here. So I'm going to go throw this in front of the fan. I'm doubting that everything is dry quite yet, but that is okay because I think I have other stuff that we can work on. So I will be right back to throw this in front of the fan. All right, that took a little longer. I had to make a pit stop. Let's go to the bathroom in case anybody needed the real details. All right, so the piece that I'm going to start painting on has just a little bit more drying to do. So I thought I would show you guys this. You know, I showed you at the beginning, those of you that were here at the beginning, this is actually the design that I'm going to go with for the outside of the actual, I guess, the outer walls. And I thought this one turned out pretty darn good. And then this is just the other side of this that I thought turned out pretty darn good as well. And I really like working with this moss stuff. It's super fun. It's super easy to work with. And yeah, it's just really cool. So if you guys, there it is. If you guys are interested in, if anybody, you know, that's newer, hasn't worked with this stuff, this is just from Woodland Scenics. It's blended turf. It's just really cool stuff. It's really, really fine. And essentially the technique to do this, super easy. You just get some Elmer's glue, or if you're from the UK or whatever, it's called, I think, PVC. Water it down a little bit. You just paint the glue on where you want this stuff, and then you just pour it on. It's so easy, and it looks so good, and it adds so much to it. So I don't know. I've been doing a lot with this sort of stuff, and those of you that are from the States, I got this at Hobby Lobby. It's $10.99 every week. They have a mobile app. So if you're not aware, let me just show you this here. They have a mobile app that once a week they have a deal, a weekly coupon. So you go to their app every week. They have this coupon. You get 40% off. It's so cool. 40% off on one item. So I don't go to Hobby Lobby that much because I don't usually need that much stuff, but anything that's over $6 or $7 that I need, I'll go to Hobby Lobby, you know, if I can plan ahead and get it 40% off. So $10.99, whatever, $11 minus $4.20, something like that. It adds up. So go check that out. It's the Hobby Lobby app. I don't know if they have it on Apple. I assume they do. And then there was something else that I was going to show you guys. I'm killing time because I need that last little bit to dry, and it's just about dry. I don't remember what I was going to look at. Sorry. I'm wasting everybody's time. Okay. I'm going to go check on that piece. It should be dry by now. Alright, it is just about dry. There's just a little bit in the cracks here, but that's okay. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, we need to mix up a little bit of kind of a whitish cream, and we're going to paint down a fair amount, and it really doesn't matter. I can go all the way down if I want. But then the green will kind of go over, and then we'll make the green a straight line. And if I am looking at this, oh, where's my Deadpool? Here it is. My chat isn't back. There we go. Okay, the static applicator for the grass. I've looked those up. They're like 70 bucks. And they're freaking awesome looking. I would love to get one of those. I actually saw a video someone made. They made their own for like $5. And I forget the video that they did. They bought an electric fly swatter and made their own using that, and it was super cool. But I don't know. I feel like getting the legit one might be a better idea. All right, so I think I'd probably want to have my green go down to about there, or only go up to about there. So 4 inches, that would be 4 foot. I think that's about the height that those, you know, when they do the two-tone walls. Anybody in the chat have any input on those two-tone walls? How high up do they typically do that lower tone? I feel like 4 foot might be the max. So let me know if you know, or if you have ideas. $90, yeah. Yep, figures can't really stand on that grass too good, yeah. But you could have like a flight stand where they're like displayed just over it, like they're jumping. I don't know. Anyway, all right, I need to make my paint. All right, so we got white, and I need to find my brown. Somebody wore his brown pants today. Oh, this might work. So I only need a little bit of brown. All right, for those of you who are 4 to 4.5 feet, yep, that's kind of what I was thinking. For any of you who don't really know, this is the paint that I'm using. White acrylic, dirt cheap, apple barrel. You could use the folk art. You could use any number of different. And this one's, what is this one? Anita's all-purpose acrylic. I'm almost out of it. For dios, I've never gotten more than the just absolute dirt cheap stuff from like Walmart. But I mix a lot of my paints too, so I get the bigger ones if I can, and if I can't, well, such is life. All right, so we're gonna mix this up. Let's set this aside so I don't keep scratching. You know, we have a Michael's in my town, but it is on the south side of town, and that's just too far for me to drive. It's only 15-20 minutes away, but I have a Joanne Fabrics, and I have a, what else do I have? Well, I've got Hobby Lobby. I usually get most of my paints at Walmart. My Walmart has a pretty good selection, and I mean, I work with a lot of just the primary colors, and then I mix stuff. So primary colors, and then your shade, black, and what is it? Tints and shades? I don't remember. That's what I typically work with, and it's the cheap stuff. We just want to brown this a little bit. I might have browned it more than I needed to. Ooh, no, I didn't. Good. It's always best to start with less. Work your way up. That's not looking too bad. Oh shoot, you idiot. Oh, it's getting to be a long night. I wonder if that... Let's do a comparison. Lost my wall. Oh. Here we go. So, I might have browned it up a little too much. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna dirty it up, but I always hate mixing too much paint because I hate wasting paint. Even though it's cheap paint, I still don't like wasting it. But you also don't want to get to a point where you haven't mixed enough and then you got to try and match it. Now, I mean, this tan, not that hard to match. And if you're going to dirty it up, it really doesn't matter that much anyway. But it's a pain in the butt. But now that I'm thinking about it, I do know I need more of this paint because we've got several walls to do. So, and I will thin this just a little bit. I don't need it super thin, but I do want it a little thinner than what I've got. The Boxing Jedi. How we doing? Jake Kodo, how we doing? Welcome. It's always nice when you guys introduce yourself when your Instagram isn't the same as your YouTube. That's very, very helpful. Jake Kodo, are you... I'm probably setting myself up for failure, but did you do the handball? The handball dial? Oh, now I'm setting myself up for failure if that wasn't. So I want it thick enough that I'll get a decent coverage without having to do too many coats. Meaning I only want to do one coat. But thin enough that it'll go on easy. And then my brush, the brush bristles, since I don't have a roller, will fill in a little bit. Yep, the handball. Sweet! Look at me. Just doing the socializing thing, remembering people. You know, it's my thing. I do that. So, Boxing Jedi, or J Kodo, what you working on? You working on any dios right now? You know what? This might be good. Let's move Deadpool. We don't need him getting any paint on him. Okay, so I think we're getting a lot of glare from this. So what we might do is fold this in half. That way then it just is covered by the dial. Where is it? All right. So we'll use this brush. Sorry, I'm just hydrating my black wash brush. brush is going to be a tad small, but such is life. All right, what did you answer? An old abandoned chapel with lights and an earthquake, an earthquaked overhead. An earthquaked overhead. I'm not sure what that means. Do tell. All right, is this gonna work? This paint. Let me think. I almost forgot a step, you guys. Oh. Hold the phone. Okay, so what we need to do before we do this, there is a step. I almost forgot. Oh my gosh, it's getting late. We need to put, I was going to use gray for that. Where's my gray? I had a gray somewhere. So there's a technique that I learned, and I had learned it ages ago while watching, I think it was some like model car video. And then I saw a dude, he goes by the Toy Bookie. He did this as well and reminded me of that technique. Where the heck is my gray? So we're going to do this again here today. If I can freaking find my gray. Oh, I can make gray. But I don't really feel like it. Oh, here we go. It was literally like right there. So here is what we're gonna do. We are gonna do a little bits because we wanna make the appearance of paint chipping off, similar to what we did here. But before we can do that, we need to put the color that we want to show on here first, and then we can move on. So. Oh, unfortunately, we have so much more to do. Actually, I can probably just use this. And this part is pretty easy. So we probably have a little bit here. Maybe you guys can see. And we might have some here. Right there. So once this dries, then I need to get some Vaseline. And the Vaseline then we put on these little spots. And then we paint over it. And then we wipe that off, and it peels the paint, the top coat paint off, and it makes it look really quite cool. big long one here. So it looks kind of random what I've done, and it's, you know, kind of on purpose. Trust me, it'll wind up looking okay. I hope, as long as I execute it right. There. That'll be good. I do need to rinse this particular brush. And then we'll probably do another black wash while we wait. So I will be right back. I'm gonna go dry this. Kind of cool is this one's dry enough that I can do some more on this one and get this one going, so we can kind of multitask. How are we doing for time? Whew. 11:49. All right. Well, I really appreciate all of you joining me here tonight. It's fun being able to do this not completely alone. Put a little bit there. Probably tell I'm getting tired. I'm talking less. It's probably good. Hey gamer, how you doing? Welcome. Glad you could join. Oh, we don't want to do too much, but we want it to look kind of cool too. So what am I working on? I am working on my Netflix Daredevil diorama. Hoping to finally finish it. And from what you're seeing right now, I'm just putting splotches on, which probably doesn't look like a whole heck of a lot. But I promise you, it will look okay when I'm done. I hope. Alright, now we are done with that part for now. Go throw this in front of a... I've got your attention. Alright, good, good, good. Always good to have someone's attention. I wonder if we need one more spot. I feel like we do. Right here. Feels off balance. Alright. Now, I'm going to go dry this, and then we'll black wash the other piece, and then hopefully by then it'll be dry enough that we can put this on. Alright, let's put another coat of dry black, whatever you call it. Wow. It's been a long day. Ooh, I really need to go wash this brush. I don't want it getting dry. Alright, that was good. Alright, we gotta mix up a little more of our black. So Gamer, are you working on any dios? I might need more paint than that. We shall see. Hey, bro boy. How we doing? Bruh. Bruh. Is that how? I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Bruh. It's not bro. It's bruh. I think. God, I am so tired. But I so want to get this as close, much closer to being done than what it is. So, we're just gonna deal with me being a little nutty. Plus I probably need to refill my beverage too. I would say drinks are on me, but I don't know how I can get you a drink, so you'll have to just fill yours up on your own if you're drinking. Be it water, which I should be drinking, or applesauce, apple juice, I mean, or like me, a cerveza. Having myself a nice Corona tonight, a couple of them. All right, so those of you that are in, we got 9 of you. We're losing some of you. Where are you guys from? Because I've been finding that there are a lot of you from outside of the United States, which is pretty darn cool. So, sound off if you are still here in the chat. Let us know what country you hail from. And while you do that, I'm gonna go set this to dry, and I am going to wash my brush. I shall return. All right. Sorry for that delay, but I had to fill up my drink. Oh, my phone. Did my phone die? Nope. All right. Oh, Brock is still here. fairly new to my channel, you're from Georgia, so Tim, welcome. California, sorry about that, Brock, the California part. I hail from Minnesota, Rochester, Minnesota. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. I've done this technique one other time. It worked pretty decent, except last time I used my finger to put this on, to apply it, and I didn't have as much control as I would have liked. So there are other techniques for doing this. There is an actual product, or series of products. Fairfield, Ohio. Nate Plowman, welcome. Let's see, been subscribed for a minute. Dig the content. Customize figs and make dios. Look forward to this week in this week in dioramas and this week in customs. Boy, I can't talk. It's been a long night. So, but this technique, like I said before, I've seen model car makers do this, and it's with petroleum jelly. And you just spread it on in the spots that you don't want your top coat. And then the toy bookie, he had posted a video and reminded me of this technique, and I thought, hey, let's give this a try, because there are products you can buy that'll do this flaking technique, but I have actually had some decent luck with this. So we're just gonna put a little bit of this on, and then once we've put our top coat on, then we can, once it's dry, we can pull this off, or wipe it off, and it leaves a nice little, it makes it look as though it is chipped, which is kind of cool. But you got to be careful that you don't get this all over, otherwise it does stain, so you kind of have to be careful. And that's why I'm not using my finger this time. All right, so you're a car model builder. Cool. Trying to move to Fairfield. Wow, look at that. Small world. Maybe Nate has a job opening. Could we be that lucky? So last time when I used my fingers, I felt like I just got a lot of Vaseline on there. So I'm thinking if I can reduce the overall amount of Vaseline I put on here, then maybe I won't have the staining effect that I had last time. Technically, okay, so this is dumb. I don't need to be doing these lower portions quite yet. There we go. And this tool is just, it's a clay modeling sculpting tool. I had gotten this, I don't know, several years ago, because when I first started with stop motion, I was doing clay animation stop motion. So, but that hobby did not last long. It didn't go very far. We'll do those another time. Okay, we'll set that aside. Clean this off. Okay, now we are ready for our top coat. Alrighty, let's see. So I'm not dry brushing. I am literally just painting. I mean, I'm trying to not put it on super thick, but it's definitely not a dry brush. I had said 5 hours before that I really wanted, I wish I had a roller. If I had some sort of roller, that would be amazing. Because that would actually give me a much better look. But I went to a couple of hobby stores today, saw nothing that would get me where I wanted to go. So I'm still on the hunt for what would be a small roller. And I'm not going to use a regular like roller that you get at Home Depot. That's just too big. It's going to soak up all my paint. I don't like this brush. This brush is not working for me. Where's my big brush that I just washed? What the heck did I do with it? Oh, I bet you it's in the bathroom. Okay, I just smacked my knuckle on the door frame. That hurt. Alright. Oh, wow. Yeah, it took some skin off. Oh, well. There we go. Much better. So when you paint over the whatever the heck that stuff is called, the petroleum jelly, you just kind of want to lightly graze over it because you don't want to move that too much, and you definitely don't want it like following and getting on your brush. This is what I have found. the time I get down to about here, this part will have started getting dry. And then I can lightly go over it again. Now, the nice thing is you don't need like perfect coverage to get this look. The thing that I don't like is because I'm not using some sort of a roller and I'm not dry brushing, you do kind of lose those cracks a little bit. Whereas if I was full on dry brushing, that wouldn't be an issue. But we can go back and we can make those a little better. Where's my measuring tool? Okay, that's a good guide. All right. They have some small foam rollers. Sounds like that might work. Yeah, if I could find them. If I could find an employee that would actually help, that might be, that might work too. I've found that the staff at ours aren't always too attentive, but oh well. So I also need to be careful about going over this hole because I already have the black in there and I don't want to cover that up. So I do need to be careful. But yeah, because this is like an old, kind of cruddy looking building, you really don't need to worry about it looking amazing. That's the best part about this. God, my lights are really harsh. Is it really harsh for you guys looking at it? Seems really harsh to me. I don't know that there's any good way of bringing that down without turning my lights off. I should have diffused my lights a little better. Yeah, you know, they have to reorganize the stuff, but you know, they are getting paid to do it. So I guess, you know, I worked not really retail, but customer service. And you know, it was one of those things that it's like, yeah, sometimes the things that they ask you to do don't feel like they make that much sense. But such is life. It's their business. If they want you to move product from the back to the front every day and vice versa and just keep moving it, well, keep doing it. It's what they want. That's my 2 cents worth anyway. So we're gonna paint this edge. Hey, Champ Arcades, how you doing? Good morning from Greece. Well, good evening from Minnesota. Glad to have you here. I was saying earlier, in probably like hour 2, how cool it is to see so many Dio creators from around the world. And then lo and behold, if those of you that are still on, we've got 11 of you, dang. If you haven't seen Mr. Champ's diorama, that thing is absolutely sick. It's so cool. So go check him out on Instagram, Champ Arcades. Just a absolutely phenomenal piece. I want to throw a little more on here. Okay, I'm gonna go put this one to dry, and then one of the others should be ready. Should be able to put some more on the other ones and keep going. Well, I mean, yeah, Tim, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes they don't really have a clue what they're really doing and they're just trying stuff. So, I get it, it's annoying. All right, let's go swap this. All right, so this one we got to be a little more careful with because this needs to become gray. So I think I have a piece of cardboard. We'll use my brick template as my guide to make sure that I get this and don't get the part that I don't want. Oh wait, but first I'm gonna put the stuff on. Where'd my tool go? No! Oh, here it is. Alright, here we go. Try and do this one a little faster than we did the last one. Yeah, Tim, I'm using, it's from Home Depot is what I'm using. It's the polystyrene foam. It's 1 inch thick. It's the pink stuff. That's what I'm using. The Lowe's stuff is typically, I think that's green. when you get it from Lowe's. So yeah, it needs to be the hard, God, what are they? They're the high density is what it needs to be. Otherwise, it would be it would be too coarse, and then you wouldn't be able to cut it as easily, and it would, like that packing foam. You can't really, I mean, you can for certain things. So like some people will use that packing foam for building up pieces, and then they'll put like a plaster of Paris or whatever that other stuff is on there, and so they'll just use it as a base to create whatever it is that they're making. But yeah, for this I'm just using the stuff that I just said. It's getting so late. I can't believe that some of you are still here. Down to 7. Granted, it's morning in Greece, so you know what? We should probably put a little bit here. Okay. And then this one. I think we got them all. Cool. Let's paint this guy up. And in fact, I think I'm going to throw a tad bit more water in this because I felt it was just a little too thick for my liking. There, I think that's going to work a little better. All right, what do we got? I'll use some cheap thin foam board from Dollar Tree. Oh, okay, yeah. So that poster board, that stuff is good, but I don't really care for using that as like the full base piece, because it is so thin it winds up, it has a tendency to kind of warp. So you have to kind of watch that. But you can definitely use it because it's kind of the same type. It's just very thin. And so you can use that as smaller accent pieces, or when you need something thin, yeah, then you can definitely use that stuff. A lot of people use it. I've used it. Oh, I might have put that. Might have thinned that just a little more than I should have. Oh well, such is life. So I think once I get this done, this wall, and I check the other one, we might call it a night. Do I ever use an electric foam cutter? No, I talked about that earlier. You probably missed that. I don't have one yet. I would like to get one, but I don't have one yet. measurement guide. Bring this down a little over 4. We're going rogue. We're not using the box piece to mask that line. We're just risking it. We can always fix it. Plus, we're going to be dry brushing gray over it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Bricks on that side. We're going to put this stuff on this side. We're going to go touch up the other piece, get this one drying, and then we'll probably touch up this piece, and then we will call it a night. Or for grease's sake, we'll call it a morning. Be right back. All right. This time we are going to brush up instead of side to side. Or down. phone is going crazy. Can't tell if it's just because the battery is dying or if somebody's actually messaging me. I think it's just because my battery is dying. This edge, I've gotten it pretty good already, but not too bad. I'm pretty pleased with that. Turned out pretty decent. I mean, I kind of want it to be splotchy looking, just because it kind of gives that little illusion or whatever. So I think that turned out pretty good. I might want to darken that up just a hair. Alright, not too shabby. Alright, we're gonna go see if that other wall is pretty well dry, and then we'll call it a night. Sadly, that wall was not dry. I don't know if I have the energy. Alright, let's plow through this. There's only 6 of you here, but we've got the paint mixed, and we have enough paint. That's just... Oh wait, we didn't do the gray. No. No, I think we're gonna call it. Alright, you guys. I really appreciate everybody that stuck around, everybody who chimed in from time to time throughout this extraordinarily long stream, but we are going to call it a night because I'm tired and I can't keep going. So have a good night, everybody. I will see you at the very least next week for the next episode of This Week in Dioramas.